Against the chaos of Dada stood the order of constructivism, and against expectation stood the constructivist artist Theo van Doesburg, founder of the Stijl, or the Style. And though van Doesburg, along with others, was committed to the development of pure abstract art, van Doesburg had his anarchic side. He was, in fact, a secret Dadaist, and went under the pseudonym of I.K. Bonset, the name being a pun based on the Dutch phrase, "Ik ben zat," I am crazy. So while van Doesburg was openly publishing the constructivist magazine De Stijl, he was secretly publishing the Dada magazine Mechano.
For van Doesburg, and to a degree for a few others too, there was certain work that had to be done before you could pursue a constructivist kind of art or a pure plastic art or whatever. Okay, there was work that had to be done first, and they could occur more or less simultaneously, but one couldn't occur without the other. The deconstruction had to precede the reconstruction. And as a matter of fact, van Doesburg did some really compelling images that were called, by the way, deconstructions and reconstructions. And this was while he was still active in the early 20s as a Dadaist. Very nice images that make it very, very clear that this was his objective in pursuing Dada.
In his self-appointed role as an internationalist, van Doesburg organized a Congress of Constructivists to be held in Weimar at the end of 1922. And in his quest to merge the interests of both Dada and constructivism, he invited the Dadaists. Much to the consternation of most of the other constructivists, Lisitsky being a notable exception, the Dadaists accepted.
And they all came and somehow took over, and this conference, it became really the last, in Germany, the last Dada event, although it was the Dada Constructivist Congress.
It must be mentioned at this point that van Doesburg's secret identity of I.K. Bonset was unknown to anybody, including the other Dadaists. So he no doubt had a chuckle when he postscripted this letter to I.K. Bonset, written by Tzara and Arp in an attempt to solicit some art from him for an upcoming publication of theirs. Following on the heels of the Weimar Congress, Kurt Schwitters organized several informal Dada events that included Theo van Doesburg and his wife Nellie, Jean Arp, Tristan Tzara, and Raoul Haussmann. This led to the Holland Dada Tour in early 1923. It was the last significant expression of the Dada spirit by the Dadas of the era. Participants included Theo and Nellie van Doesburg, Nellie being an accomplished pianist, Hanne Hoch, and of course, Kurt Schwitters himself. All in all, they toured through 8 Dutch towns, beginning at the castle complex of the Binnenhof at The Hague. Van Doesburg opened the evening with an introduction to Dadaism, or Dada philosophy, addressing the question, what is Dada? Schwitters picks up the story.
Since I didn't know a word of Dutch, we'd agreed that I should demonstrate Dadaism as soon as he took a drink of water. Van Doesburg drank, and I, sitting in the middle of the audience, to whom I was unknown, suddenly began to bark furiously. The barking netted us a second evening in Haarlem. As a matter of fact, it was sold out because everyone was curious to see Van Doesburg take a drink of water and then hear me suddenly and unexpectedly bark. At Van Doesburg's suggestion, I neglected to bark on this occasion. This brought us our third evening in Amsterdam. This time, people were carried out of the hall in a faint. A woman was so convulsed with laughter that for 15 minutes she held the public attention. And a fanatical gentleman in a homespun coat prophetically hurled the epithet idiots at the crowd.
Oh, I think they had a blast on that trip. And it must have been one of the most inspiring moments for both of these artists, because they truly saw that they could keep an audience enthralled. And on top of that, they made money. It also teaches us, if nothing else, that art can can open up something in you. And that is, of course, what Schwitters means about the transcendental experience. It's not just meant spiritually as a religious experience, but also the understanding that what it means to be human, that it entails so many different actions that we usually suppress. And through the Dadaist actions of performance, play and provocation, experimentation, you can discover that hidden self. You can discover the chaos in the Merzbau behind the wall.